Hey, it's Christy from Inity, and if there was a moment to raise your consciousness and if there was a moment to create for change and to organize, the moment is right now. You've most likely heard this over and over, and I will say it again because it is so true. We are currently living in unprecedented times. Most of us are going through all kinds of ups and downs with the whole quarantine and watching everything as this pandemic unfolds. And, it's hard not knowing what the next day will hold for us, right? I would say emotionally and mentally, and even just looking at our society. And I would say first that, it is understandable that, many of us are going to be going through these mental blocks stacked up sky high, I would say, because I've just been hitting a wall every now and then during this whole time. And I think it's also understandable to, in a sense, feel helpless. At the same time, like everyone else, I know that you are basically watching as things unfold, and you might be a little uncertain about your role in all of this and really how to move forward. So I would say, as always, tap into your intuition, just listen to your gut and think about whether there really is something that is just burning inside of you that most likely needs to be addressed. And I'm talking about passion-wise, not indigestion, okay? So I would say to raise your consciousness, right? And raise your consciousness so you can set a foundation for yourself and to allow yourself to, as I like to say, step into your power. And I don't only mean to step into your power for the pandemic, but also to step into your power so you can create the world that you want to live in moving forward. So you might be asking, I do this all the time, but you might be asking, Christy, how can I become more conscious? And I have some suggestions for you, and we will get started right now. So first, I would say to seek and accept the truth, and not just your truth, even though I encourage people all the time to live in your truth. But what I'm talking about here is stepping outside of what you're used to, and that includes your way of life, anything that has been influenced by your ethnic background or your culture, your beliefs and ideologies, and I would even say your privileges, to name a few. And basically, this is just learning, expanding your knowledge, and from there, because knowledge is a continuous thing, you don't stop, but from there, you speak the truth. Next, I would say is to build up your courage. So whatever you fear, whether it has to do with, people or voicing your opinion, if you're afraid of judgment or you're afraid of lack of acceptance or isolation, whatever it is, you need to conquer that, because to be a conscious person requires growth, continuously growing. I was gonna say growthing. Did I say growthing? Christy. Continued growth. Anyways, whatever, I ain't perfect. But next I would say would be to take your compassion to the next level. So it's one thing to be sympathetic to what others are going through, but at least in my opinion, that's a little more surface level. And that's where you maybe pity somebody or something, or you feel sorry for blank. So when I'm talking about raising your compassion to the next level, I'm talking about being empathetic. So to practice being empathetic, and yes, you can instill it in you if you aren't already an empathetic person, I would say just listen. Listen to what another person, a group, a community, listen to what they're going through and acknowledge that they're going through something. Learn about what they're going through and offer genuine support and love. I say this a lot, like the power or one of the powers of an activist is that they are truly empathetic. Next, I would say is to figure out what you are truly passionate about, and to get clear about that passion and get clear about that change that you want to see in your community or in society or globally. And in order to do that, if you're trying to figure out I can't really pinpoint what my passion is, simple as this: what really pisses you off? What are you seeing happen out there that you are losing sleep over? In a sense, what is bringing out that empathetic side of you? The next way to raise your consciousness, I'd like to say, is to reason. Reason for thought, and to form your opinions, and to use logic to come to conclusions. We've been reasoning since we were children, figuring out the why and getting into these conversations, but I can say that I was really introduced to the concept of reasoning when I started working in the reggae music industry. And you are surrounded by people who are very conscious and would like to reason about things, and it's something that I cherish and I love to do all of the time. But I would say that really it's just to have a conversation with people, whether or not they're like-minded, and I feel like it just helps you to understand the opposing side, and also to really just make sense of things altogether, if that makes sense. Next, I would say is to surround yourself with conscious people. The saying that you are most like the 5 people that you're around most of the time? So it's kind of like that, but I don't like to put it in such almost exact terms, like an average of 5 people and so forth. So just in general, I would say it's like you are most like the people that you associate with. So it's like who you allow in your space, because more likely than not, you're going to pick up some of those characteristics. So it's the go-getters versus the lazy people. It's the visionaries versus the complacent people, or whatever it is. So I say to surround yourself with people who challenge you intellectually, who are healthy for your mentality, who are healthy for you emotionally, and basically conscious people and conscious creatives themselves. If you are a creative, you definitely have to surround yourself with other creatives. But again, surround yourself with conscious people. Next, I would say is to take care of yourself. Yes, being a conscious person also means being conscious about mind, body, and soul. So eat with awareness, move with awareness, or in other words, be mindful about what you are putting into your body every single time, and how you're using your body, and really just how you treat yourself. And ask yourself, is this going to help me, or is this going to hurt me, even now or in the long run? Next, I would say is to set your intention to become more conscious. And I would say that, in the beginning of the year, because I was talking a lot about setting your intentions, because it was 2020 and this was going to be our year. But I do think it actually is our year. This is where we definitely need to rise up, and this is what we were made for. However, going back a little bit, when I talk about setting the intention to be conscious, consciousness is the goal, right? And intention really focuses more on the journey. So intention, in a sense, allows you to live in the moment, and that's where the growth happens. So I guess, how else could I put this? It's if you're striving to be more conscious so that you can make moves to create the world that you want to see, set the intention to be that person, set the intention to do that thing, because there are going to be so many lessons within that journey that get you to that goal. So again, set your intention to become more conscious. Lastly, I would say a way to raise your consciousness is to create with intention. Speaking of intention, but think about what it is that you're creating. Are you creating a song? Are you creating a product, an art piece? Are you editing film? Like, what is it that you're doing, and why are you doing it? I'm talking about going beyond like selling your work, because that's not what we're talking about in this video. For instance, do you want to raise awareness about an issue? Do you want to raise money for an organization? Do you want to get people to start thinking about something? Do you want to get people to act? Think about the reason why you are creating that thing, that product, even that service. So I just want to end this video by saying that if you aren't already there, like, this is the moment to raise your consciousness, because I can't emphasize enough like how serious this is, like what we are going through. The pandemic alone is just, it's heartbreaking, it's traumatizing, but at the same time it's also maddening. And I don't want you to think that because you are not one of those people who are working on the front lines that you don't have any power in this. This is your time to, again, create the change that you want to see out there in the world. And I feel like this is the time that we have to help each other, and we have to band together to get through this. So again, I just want to remind you, as always, you are an artist, you are a visionary, and you are a leader in your own right. And you are a part of a generation of activists at the forefront of real positive change. So I want to thank you again for watching. If you liked the video, if you didn't like it, if I left something out, if you have any questions, please link in the comments below or send me a message. And remember, I am here for you, and we are going to get through this together. So create a beautiful day.